$2,000 fourth stimulus check specifically focused on the low income, including fixed income beneficiaries of Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to discuss the details of a $2,000 fourth stimulus check specifically focused on the low income and, of course, the fixed income beneficiaries I mentioned at the beginning of this video. I also do want to take some time to talk about and answer some comments, questions, and of course some concerns from those of you right here in the community that I've seen right down below in the comments section on previous videos. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it and talk through all the details. First off, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day to help you out in any way that I possibly can, as well as keeping you informed of all the things during this very busy time. Also, as long as you're right down below the video, make sure to hit the like button and of course share this video with your friends, family, and social media so we can continue to help out as many people as we can right now, again, during this busy, confusing, and uncertain time we're currently living through. Either way, I'm here for you. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about the details of a $2,000 fourth stimulus check, where we currently stand, what is going on here, answering your comments, your questions, your concerns, and all the details you need to know about this. All right, so what I do want to talk about here in this video is what I'm watching closely right now, because as I've mentioned before in other videos, it is all about economic data, okay? Probably not what you were expecting me to say, right? You're probably thinking it's all about us, right? Well, yeah, it is, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, when it comes down to Congress and their likelihood of approving additional money, benefits, checks, stimulus checks, monthly checks, ongoing payments, raises to benefits, whatever we want to call it like this, universal basic income, guaranteed basic income, whatever we want to say like this, additional money going out to the people, it's all generally based on economic data, okay? Now I know, I don't want to turn this into a big economic lesson talking about all kinds of things, supply and demand and all that stuff like that. I'm not going to be talking about all that, but I do want to talk about a few things that I'm watching closely right now because this is what it's all predicated on, okay? Now, obviously, there's not just one factor that says, oh, this number hit this threshold, therefore a check goes out. Well, it's not really like that, but rather it's accumulation of all of them coming together, okay? So that's what I want to talk about. All right. So first off, again, I want to throw this out there really fast. I think we're all on the same page here, but again, I want to make this very clear so that, there's no miscommunication, so there's no confusion about this, but I think everybody understands this. But again, just want to throw it out there, full disclaimer. As of right now, we all understand, no, a $2,000 check has not been approved yet, okay? I think everybody here in the community knows that by now, but again, I always want to throw that disclaimer out there so that nobody's saying, you said a check was approved. Nope, didn't say that. Not me. Anyway, maybe somebody else did. Not me. Not right now anyway. Maybe at some point. Who knows? Again, time will tell. But let's quickly run through a couple different things that I'm watching very closely right now. And again, I'll try to buzz through these relatively quickly, but I do want to elaborate on some of them because you got to have a basic understanding. All right, number one, job market, okay? The job market. This is a very important one. In fact, let me break this down because remember a couple years ago, in fact, it was in 2021, when lawmakers came out, they wanted to implement automatic stabilizers for the unemployment rate. Do you remember me talking about this at the time? This is a real thing. There was some legislation back in 2021. And again, I know this is a while ago, but I'm just using this as a reference to illustrate the importance of the job market, okay? This is very important. So back in 2021, there was some legislation that came out. Lawmakers wanted to implement automatic stabilizers to automatically send out stimulus checks in the event the unemployment rate hits certain not dollar amounts, when it hits certain percentages. Okay, so what they wanted to do is basically if the unemployment rate hit a certain percentage, as in a certain percentage of people unemployed, boom, out goes a stimulus check. If it hits another threshold, as in the unemployment rate goes even higher, then boom, out goes another stimulus check. This is what they wanted to do a couple of years ago. They wanted to implement this. So my point is behind this. The unemployment rate and the job market is unbelievably important when it comes down to the likelihood of additional checks, because the unemployment rate is directly tied to the health of the economy. When the economy is strong and robust and growing, the unemployment rate is generally low. right? When the unemployment rate goes higher, it simply means that businesses are contracting, profits are not as high, the economy is contracting, there's not growth in the economy, therefore they're letting people go, a lot of businesses are not hiring. It's very, very important. The job market is possibly the most important metric when it comes down to the likelihood of additional checks, just like what we saw back in, well, all of the recessions that we saw over the last 20 some years. Back into the year 2000, we saw a major economic contraction. Again, unemployment rate going high, therefore checks going out. 2008, 2009, the housing bust and a lot of other things that were going on. Jobs being lost, unemployment rate was high, checks going out. Same thing in 2020, 2021. Unemployment rate was high, a lot of people unemployed, economy was crashing, boom, checks going out, right? Same old thing, okay? That's why we got to watch all this stuff very closely. So that is what I'm watching. Again, there's one number that comes out the first Friday of every single month. It is called the non-farm payrolls. It's basically just a representation of how many jobs were created or lost in the previous month. It gives us a percentage as far as the unemployment rate. And it also tells us things like the labor participation rate as well as average hourly pay, all kinds of stuff like this. It gives us all kinds of metrics. That's one report that I watch very closely, and a lot of other people are watching as well. Here's an interesting side note. It's been ticking higher over the last several months. It's been going up, meaning the unemployment rate is going up. More people are becoming unemployed. That's, if you're on the fence and if you're in the camp cheering for a stimulus check, this would be welcome to news, okay? Just saying that. We don't want anyone to lose their jobs. I'm just simply saying, if you're in the camp of saying, hooray for checks, then this would be a win for you, okay? So just tally that one up, okay? Put it as old tally on the check marks or whatever they're called. Anyway, all right, so next, what I want to continue watching is the Federal Reserve. What are they going to continue doing the rest of the year and next year and beyond? Remember, 2022 and the first half of 2023, they raised interest rates aggressively, okay? What we need to know about this is the aggressive interest rates will eventually have more an effect on the economy, because the whole purpose behind that is to disincentivize people from borrowing money. People, businesses, they want us to stop borrowing money. They want us to start saving money, which is why they raise interest rates. They make it more expensive to borrow money and more enticing to save money, because when you save money, you get interest on it from your bank, a couple percentage points or whatever they're paying these days. And when you borrow money, it costs a lot more money to borrow money. So they basically say, stop spending and start saving. That's what they're trying to tell us by raising interest rates, okay? What I want to continue watching closely, because this will have a contraction on the economy. How much? Well, we'll still have to see that. It's happening a little bit, but the full effects of that is still yet to be seen, okay? So that's another metric I'm watching. Next is inflation. Inflation, honestly, it's important, but when it all comes down to it, if the economy goes down the tubes and it's not having a good time, inflation will be not even an existent story anymore, okay? No one will care about inflation. The only reason they're talking about inflation right now is because they feel the need to talk about inflation and to act like we care about inflation. They don't care about inflation. They couldn't care less about inflation. If they cared about inflation, why did they print $6 trillion over the last couple years? They knew it was coming. They knew inflation. They knew that this was an inflationary thing. They knew that printing $6 trillion, or about 26% of the money supply in the United States, of United States dollars, they knew this was very, very inflationary. Why would they do it if they cared about inflation? They don't. Okay, just saying. In the event of this economy contracting majorly and going down, inflation and the inflation story will be old news. They won't care. Won't matter one bit. They'll start printing money like it's going out of style, and they'll start plowing it out, going up in helicopters, throwing it out the window, saying, hooray for everybody, grab some money, right? So anyway, quick side note. Do you remember quite a few years ago, there was a chairman of the Federal Reserve. His name was, today it's Jerome Powell, but then it was Ben Bernanke. Do you remember Ben? Ben had a nickname, Helicopter Ben. Do you remember all this? I do. Anyway, it was not that many years ago, but Helicopter Ben got the name because just printing money. It was basically like the analogy of literally going up in helicopters, throwing out wads of cash for the people. So that was just a little quick side note for you. Anyway, if you want a little bit of trivia for your, Friday night trivia, there you go, okay? That'll probably never be asked, But you never know, right? I'm full of useless information. I can tell you that much. Okay, I have a lot of information stored up that I wish I could forget, but it's trapped in my little head, and it's going to be there forever. Anyway, all right, so those are a few things that I'm watching. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to it that I'm going to continue watching going forward, but those are a few of the major ones that I'm watching. Mostly, honestly, it's the job market. That is the major one that I'm going to continue watching very closely. And of course, the actions out of the Federal Reserve. We'll need to continue watching. Now, obviously, there's a lot more economic data that continues to come out on a weekly basis. I'm not going to go into all that because honestly, you probably don't really care, okay? You don't really need to know all that stuff. I will continue watching it and, translating all this into what does it mean for the economy and the likelihood of additional checks going forward. So I know that this kind of turned into a little bit of an economic lesson, but at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It's all about the economy. How much does it contract? What happens to go? How far does it go down? That's what it all comes down to. Every single time the economy contracts, every time we go into a recession, we get checks. Same thing, okay? So again, if you're in the camp of rooting for another check, you probably want to be rooting for another economic contraction called a major recession. Again, so remember, a recession is this much. A recession is otherwise known as a reset. Okay, a lot of people look at a recession saying, oh my, the recession. You should be looking at the recession saying, oh my, a reset. This is awesome, right? A reset. We could all use a reset every so often, right? That's what a recession is. It's a big old reset button for the economy, okay? Not a bad thing. Depends how you look at it. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it can be bad. Depends on which side of the fence you're on, okay? Or you can be Humpty Dumpty and you can just sit on the wall. Just make sure when you fall off, you go to the right side. Make sense? Anyway, just don't crack open when you fall off. Make sense? Anyway, all right, we're going to wrap it up right there. Hope that makes sense for you. Anyway, please leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Otherwise, I'm here for you. I'm going to continue watching everything very closely. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, and catch you again later in the next